Members, the first speaker is Kyrtsos. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman. President Draghi, I agree with your analysis, but it seems to me that we face challenges. For instance, there is a reform fatigue in certain Eurozone countries, and we are facing difficult Euro elections. Do you believe that we can move forward in the direction you described, despite the fact that as politicians we are bound to make political calculations on the way to the Euro elections? Yes. Do you think that we can move forward in the direction that you have described, despite the fact that we as politicians are bound to make political calculations on the way to Euro elections? For instance, you have the Italian situation. I read the criticism of the Bank of Italy towards the Italian government, but who is going to decide in the end what's going to be done? And then I have a second question that has to do with Brexit. We know the terms of the agreement. Do you think that there is a cost associated to it as far as the financial structure of the Eurozone is concerned? And what about if the British Parliament says no? Everybody says that there is no plan B, but what's going to happen in the financial sector? Thank you.
Thank you. Well, both are quite difficult questions, really. The first, you asked me whether the agenda that I hinted at is a realistic one, given the present time. And the answer is yes, indeed. It's realistic. It does require clearly does require a confident vision that our future being a common future, and the fact that is common is good for all of us. It does require this vision, and I think that by and large this vision overall, the European Union is shared by most. Now, there are country-specific situations where this may be more difficult or appears to be more difficult, and others where it's less difficult. We will see. But I believe it's a realistic agenda. The second point is, again, it's a very difficult question. What happens if? What I can say is that the ECB, the Commission first, the ECB and the Bank of England and the UK government have been discussing, and especially the Bank of England and the ECB, working together so as to identify the main vulnerabilities that may arise from a sharp, sudden deterioration of the climate. And I would say that by and large now, especially after the communication of the Commission on the conditional and temporary equivalence, many of the uncertainties may well be coped in a way that doesn't prejudge financial